The little boy worked hard all day in the fields because his parents were poor farmers and could not pay a worker. But at sunset there came an hour that was all his own, for his father had given it to him. Then the boy would go up to the top of a hill and look across at another hill that rose some miles away. On this far hill stood a house with windows of clear gold and diamonds. They shone and burned so that the boy wrinkled his nose when he looked at them, but after a while the people in the house hung up the shutters, and then it looked like an ordinary farmhouse. The boy decided that they had done this because it was time for supper, so he went into the house, had some bread and milk for supper, and went to bed. One day the boy's father called him and said,
"You have been a good boy, and have earned a holiday. Take this day for your own. But remember that God gave it, and try to learn some good thing."
The boy thanked his father and kissed his mother, then he put a piece of bread in his pocket, and started off to find the house with the golden windows. It was pleasant walking. His bare feet made marks in the white dust, and when he looked back, the footprints seemed to be following him, and making company for him. His shadow, too, kept beside him, and would dance or run with him as he pleased, so it was very cheerful. By and by he felt hungry, and he sat down by a brown brook that ran through the alder hedge by the roadside, and ate his bread, and drank the clear water. Then he scattered the crumbs for the birds, as his mother had taught him to do, and went on his way. After a long time he came to a high green hill, and when he had climbed the hill, there was the house on the top. But it seemed that the shutters were up, for he could not see the golden windows. He came up to the house, and then he could well have wept, for the windows were of clear glass, like any others, and there was no gold anywhere about them. A woman came to the door, and looked kindly at the boy, and asked him what he wanted.
"I saw the golden windows from our hilltop,"
he said,
"and I came to see them, but now they are only glass."
The woman shook her head and laughed.
"We are poor farming people,"
she said,
"and are not likely to have gold about our windows, but glass is better to see through."
She bade the boy sit down on the broad stone step at the door, and brought him a cup of milk and a cake, and bade him rest. Then she called her daughter, a child of his own age, and nodded kindly at the two, and went back to her work. The little girl was barefooted like himself, and wore a brown cotton gown, but her hair was golden like the windows he had seen, and her eyes were blue like the sky at noon. And he told her about his own at home, which was red like a chestnut, with 4 white feet. Then when they had eaten an apple together, and so had become friends, the boy asked her about the golden windows. The little girl nodded, and said she knew all about them, only he had mistaken the house.
"You have come quite the wrong way,"
she said.
"Come with me, and I will show you the house with the golden windows, and then you will see for yourself."
They went to a knoll that rose behind the farmhouse, and as they went the little girl told him that the golden windows could only be seen at a certain hour, about sunset.
"Yes, I know that,"
said the boy. When they got to the top of the hill, the girl turned and pointed to it, and there, in the distance, on the hill, stood a house with windows of pure gold and diamonds, just like the one he had seen. And when they looked again, the boy saw that it was his own house. Then he told the girl it was time for him to go, and gave her his best pebble, white with a red stripe, which he had carried in his pocket all year, and she gave him 3 horse chestnuts, one red as satin, one spotted and one white as milk. He kissed her and promised to come again, but he did not tell her that he recognized her and went back down the hill, while the girl stood in the sunset and looked after him. It was a long journey home, and it was already dark when the boy reached his father's home, but the light of the lanterns and the fire illuminated the windows, making them almost as bright as he had seen them from the hilltop. When he opened the door, his mother came up to kiss him, his younger sister ran to hug him by the neck, and his father raised his head and smiled from his seat by the fire.
Have you had a good day?
Asked his mother.
Yes.
The boy had a very good day.
And have you learned anything?
Asked his father.
Yes.
Said the boy.
I have learned that our house has windows of gold and diamond.
The end. This story provides a beautiful allegory. We see things from our perspective, where and when we stand. And we may envy others in what we have, but we cannot see for ourselves unless someone shows us. We wish you the best of luck. Thanks for watching. See many more interesting books and stories on our channel. Sign up so you don't miss new interesting videos. Thank you very much.